Hello and welcome to Graceful, a Pace of Grace podcast where we explore the abundant grace of God in every aspect of our lives. I'm your host, Chelas, and today's episode is a very, very special episode. So join me in a few seconds as I introduce my guest. So as I said, today's episode is a very, very special episode. And before we get into it, happy new month. We're in the month of February. And as we all know, most of us know that the month of February is a month of love. And with Graceful and the Pace of Grace podcast, we are not going to be left behind. Okay, we are all in on this love feel. We're all in on these love vibes. Okay, and so in this month of love, we're gonna endeavor to discuss topics and just have episodes that really dive deep into the aspects of love, kingdom relationships, kingdom marriages, and just building around the grace of God when it comes to these relationships. And so to kickstart this special series in this month of February, like I said, I have someone very special. He's not new. Okay, you already know him. So when I say special, I don't mean someone that you don't know. You already know him, but I'm gonna have him introduce himself in a couple of seconds, in a moment. But this very special person is very dear to me, and that is my darling husband, Chikombe Chela. Drum roll.
Da, 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 da. Barely 3 episodes into the podcast, and she has me onto the mic. I don't love speaking over a mic. I love being in the background, and I am so grateful and happy to be with you all, the Graceful podcast family.
You are so welcome. This man has been behind the scenes, y'all. He has been behind the scenes the past 3 weeks, working so hard, to put the podcast together. And so it's so special to have him on this side of the microphone so that he can speak into this very, very good topics that we're going to be having over the next couple of weeks in this month of February. So welcome, baby. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you.
And as we kickstart this love series, we wanted to start off with something very, very casual so that you guys can get to know who the Chelas are. Okay, I mean, before we get into the deep stuff, okay, talking about the grace of God when it comes to marriage and relationships, we wanted you guys to get to know us so that you know who's giving you this advice, who's speaking into your relationships, right? I mean, that's something that I would want. If someone is going to try and tell me something, I'd want to make sure that I know who this person is. And so for the first episode of this month of love, we wanted to do a Q&A. Okay, it's going to be a Q&A. I'll be asking questions. He'll be asking questions. He'll be answering. I'll be answering. Just simple little questions, here and there, just to get you guys to a place where you can at least get to know us a little better. So are you ready to jump into it?
Yep, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so I'll go first. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. I have to think about this, to be honest.
I know. He's a movie buff. He loves movies.
So many favorite movies. I would have to go with an action movie, definitely. Yeah. Give me a second here. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Oh gosh, you had to throw it back at me. Let me see. I have a lot of favorite movies as well, but I would have to say unfortunately, I can't pin it to a specific movie, but I can pin it to a category. Is that okay? Does that count?
That counts. I
can pin it to a category. Thing. So I love movies that are drama. I love a lot of drama movies. Is that correct? Is it dramatic or drama?
Drama.
Yeah, drama movies. I love a lot of romantic movies. Of course, I'm a lady, I'm a woman. But also action movies. I feel like, the time that I've been with you, the years that we've been together, I feel like you've pulled me into the action genre of movies. Yeah. So I would say that it's hard to really pin it down to a specific movie title because we've seen so many movies. So I don't know.
Same with me. So let's go on to the next thing. I think we're both movie buffs. We enjoy a good, mature movie. Something not too, out there, but
Yeah.
we enjoy our good, solid
We also love a
movies.
good laugh.
Yes.
Apart from the drama and the action, we also
A good laugh. Absolutely.
enjoy a good
Between
laugh.
her and I, we enjoy a good laugh.
yeah. All right, I think that's your turn now.
Cool. Okay, my turn.
Question number 2.
What is your favorite childhood memory?
My favorite childhood memory would have to be the times that I spent with my grandparents. My grandparents from my dad's side, I feel like I spent a lot of time with them growing up. I spent a lot of holidays with them, like, Christmas or whatever school break holidays would have. And those times were the best for me because my other cousins would come over and it would be a full house, a lot of chaos, full house. And it's not like we had everything, but we were so content. We were so content that even in moments when there was no food, for example, like I remember my grandma had this thing where there would be no food in the house, and then she would have all of us, her grandchildren, around, and then she would make like this nice porridge from cornmeal, milling meal. Back home we call it milling meal. Right here we say cornmeal. And she would make this porridge, and we didn't have sugar, we didn't have anything else to add to it, and she would add just a little touch of salt. And just because we would have that as a family, it would be the best breakfast ever. And so for me, I would have to say my favorite childhood memories would be the times that I spent on holiday or vacation, as the Americans say. There's that whole battle, right? Is it holiday or vacation?
Or vacation.
Back home, we use the British English, so we say holiday. But here in America, people say vacation. So whatever you want to call it, holiday, vacation. But those were my favorite times with my grandparents. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, it's my turn now, right?
Yep.
Question number 3. What is your favorite memory of our relationship?
Oh, yeah. This is a good one.
I'm curious.
I absolutely love our beginning stages. My favorite memory of our relationship is you and I courting, spending time together. I remember a couple of times when we walked as we're dating, visiting one another, and ended up getting soaked in the rain. And
I remember that.
we stood under a tree.
We didn't have a
and
car.
It was a typical Lusaka, Zambia outpour, and it really rained on us. We were soaked, we were wet, and we were in love.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful
And that's what
thing.
mattered, right? And yeah, the rain didn't count. The rain didn't count at all. Yeah, I love that.
And over to me. So, number 4, what is your favorite thing about yourself, honey?
Favorite thing about myself, I would have to say, is I like to think of myself as an empathetic person. I have a lot of empathy. I feel a lot when it comes to people, relationships. Excuse me. When it comes to people, relationships, and things like that. So I would say that's one of my favorite things about myself. I'm very empathetic, and I love that. Sometimes it can work against you, but I mean, it's all about striking a balance. You want to feel for people, you want to carry burdens and all of that, but at the same time, you never want people to take advantage of you or take advantage of that quality. So it's all about striking a balance, but that's definitely one of the favorite things about myself. Okay. Number 5, what is your favorite thing about me? Look at here.
Who came up with these questions?
We all know the answer to that question. What is your favorite thing about me?
What is my favorite thing about you?
Yes.
I would absolutely put it down to how you're a great mother to our children.
Aww.
There's so many favorite things about you that I could point out. One of the things when I speak and talk about our relationship is how I met you, which is in church, and you worshiping. You're a worshiper. You love God. Those are some of the favorite things that I have and know about you.
Oh, thank you, baby. Appreciate that. It's over to you now.
Oh, my question. And so, what is your love language? This is a good one. What is your love language?
I think you know the answer to this, but I'll still go ahead and answer for the sake of our audience. My love language. Does it even qualify to be a love language? You correct me if I'm wrong.
Let's go.
My love language is food. Period. Point blank.
Agree.
Period.
I know that look when you're hungry.
Get me a plate of food. Take me to a good restaurant. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just good food, and you're good. That's the way to my heart right there.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, it's my turn. When did you first know you wanted to be in a relationship with me?
Oh, that's easy.
Brag a lot.
I recall it was Sunday morning at church, and it was a youth service that we were having at our church back home in Lusaka. And I looked at, who is this young lady going up to sing with her little crew? Divine, was it called?
Divine. Yes, shout out to Toela Lusungu, Elena. Who else was there at that time? Lelwa,
yeah.
and I think Natasha.
It was absolutely a massive crew, to be honest. And you guys were on fire for God. You were worshiping, and I said, Lord, could you help me, Lord? I'll end it there.
That's so sweet. Well, we'll take a pause right there and just encourage the young men. Keep your eyes open in church.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Come on, brothers.
I mean, you can close your eyes when you're praying and worshiping, but hey, take a moment to scan your environment. Take a moment to look around while everybody else is worshiping and praising. Okay, you never know.
I mean, we are a little biased here, because we met each other in church, and we found love in church. It's a secure place. I mean,
best place really to meet someone you can call your life partner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, you're number 8.
I am doing number 8. Okay. What is the main thing that you think makes a relationship last?
Okay, by far, I think communication.
That's so
communication makes any relationship last long, and I think I've learned that with my relationship with you from the time that we were dating. And I actually learned this from you. I'm an introvert to some extent, and so you taught me how to express myself. You taught me how to talk about things, when I'm offended, when I'm not happy about something, to always express myself. And because of that, we are where we are today. If I didn't learn that, if I didn't learn to appreciate the value of communication, I don't know if we would have lasted even a month or even a year into our relationship. So to answer that question, I feel communication is the key to making a relationship last.
And I think also, speaking about communication, that really speaks into openness with one another, being bare with one another. I'll be honest, how long have we been married? 10 years?
No, we've been married 11. I think we'll be 12 this year. We've lost count. Where's my calculator? Let me see. Okay, while you're talking, I'll go ahead and calculate.
We'll be 12 this year. So like you said, communication, being in marriage teaches you to be bare, teaches you to be honest with one another. So that bit about communication, it's basically you being bare and honest with one another.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And yes, it's 12 years
12
this
years.
year. Praise God. Praise God. Okay. So who's next? Is it me? Number 9.
That's you.
Okay. So number 9, when was the last time you cried?
Oh.
Before you answer that, it's funny how our kids, should be a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Itai or Jada, one of our kids was asking, Mommy, how come we've seen you cry, but we've never seen Daddy cry? Do daddies cry? So you can answer that question. When was the last time you cried?
I really can't put a finger to it right now. I mean, the last time would have been a bereavement that we had at our church back home in Zambia.
How long ago was that?
Maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, yeah.
Oh.
Or longer.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I will say I feel like I've seen you not like weep crying, like, ugly cry.
Yeah, which type of crying we talking
but I've
about?
seen you shed a few tears when you worship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like when I've noticed that when you're in the presence of God and you just, basking in the presence of God and just enjoying your Heavenly Father,
Yes.
I've seen you shed a few tears here and there. But when it comes to like the weeping kind of crying, like you said, it's probably been a few years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, I was going to answer, I cried this past Sunday.
Oh, yeah. He's a crier when it
Yep.
comes to worship.
Oh, get me in the house of God, and yes.
Pass on the tissues. All right. So that was me. Now you're number 10.
So number 10,
Mm-hmm.
if you could only go on one type of vacation the rest of your life, what would you choose as a relaxing beach vacation or a high energy adventure?
I think you already know the answer to this. High energy, I do not do. But I can definitely, from the two options given, whether a relaxing beach vacation or high energy, I would definitely pick a relaxing beach vacation. I would not, on the other hand, get into the water at the beach because I cannot
all know
swim
that.
to save my life. But I can lay on that beach under that umbrella, sipping on some nice non-alcoholic Caribbean juice or whatever kind of juice they're offering, enjoying the sunshine, snacking on, a good snack. So definitely a relaxing beach vacation
So
any day.
might I add, if you ask me this question, how I would answer it, I would absolutely say an adventure. I mean, if you're going to do something
Yeah.
the rest of your life, it's got to be an adventure. I mean, life is all about the ups and downs. That speaks into even how your relationship and I
Yeah.
is and how we've lived our lives. I mean, not everything is a bed of roses.
True.
And that's just how life is. You take it up and down.
Right.
It's about the perspective and how you take every up or every down. Yep.
Yeah, and you can tell from the way that he just said that he's the fun one. He's the high energy one, and he pulls me into that. And so you got to strike that balance, and I appreciate that. Okay, so you did 10. I'm doing 11. Okay, so in what ways do you think I have grown from the time when we were dating to where we are right now? In what way do you think I've grown? Ooh, I'm curious.
Well, you mentioned it before. Communication is a big growth spurt that I've seen from the time you and I were dating. I have also seen quite a bit of maturity when it comes to... Okay.
Jeez.
I should be careful here. A lot of maturity when it comes to how you handle situations. We've grown, both you and I would say, how we handle situations, how we handle the ups and downs, the disappointments, so I've seen a lot of maturity in that area. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, you're next with number 12.
Number 12. Let's do this. What's something you think we do really well as a couple?
Live in the moment.
Yes.
I feel like we do this extremely well. We live in the moment. And by living in the moment, I mean we maximize the moment.
Yeah.
So in that moment, it could be a moment of plenty, where you can splurge, just go all out and just enjoy and have fun. It could be a moment of not having anything, but looking around you and seeing what you do have and maximizing that. We've had moments, of on both sides of those coins. And so I feel like that's something that we do very well. We are able to adapt and adjust according to the moment and live in that moment. So I love that about us. Yeah.
Amazing.
I can brag on that for sure.
All day long. Yep.
Okay, it's my turn. Number 13. We're almost done. You see, you thought we were going to take an hour with this, but we're almost done.
It's taking too long already.
Okay, so number 13. What do you hope our life will look like in 5 years?
Well, that is a hope and a dream. I mean, we'll be in our own home. Our kids will be grown and mature. at the stage where they're at right now, and that's one of the areas and responsibilities that we both have, and I really speak into a lot. We're parents. We've got these little ones. Four littles. The stage where they're at. Oldest is turning 11?
11 this week.
Week. And youngest is
5 months old. No, actually 6 months old. Oh, my
6
baby.
months old. So they're at a stage where they're tender, they're young. So in the next 5 years, I see us raising them up to be mature, young kids, that are able to take responsibility. You and I settled in our ministry. You and I are grown up in our walk with God, stronger in our walk with God, and strong as a couple.
From glory to glory, right?
That's it.
And that has been our testimony, really. So when you talk about 5 years, for me, it excites me. Like, I think about it and I'm like, Lord, if you've already done this much where we're at right now, how much more are you going to do in the next 5 years? Like, it just gives you
humbling. It's amazing.
A sense of expectation, anticipation, because we know the kind of God that we serve. We know what he's capable of. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's on you now. Question number 14. Yeah.
Okay. What was the first job you ever wanted to have?
What was the first job I ever wanted to have? Are you sure? Is that what it says?
That's what it says.
Where did this question come from? What was the first job you ever wanted to have? Curious. Let me see. What was the first job I ever wanted to have? I would say initially when I was getting into, the job market space, I always thought my first job would be in an corporate office environment. Right, and it was close to it. It was close to it. My first job was as I was a bank agent, I think, bank sales agent. So it was close, but that was always my first idea of what my first job would be like in the corporate environment. So my mic is falling. Is it good?
It's good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Last question. And it goes to me, right?
Yep.
Of what significance is family time to you? And now the family time being vacation, or is it leisure time? Leisure time? Oh my gosh. You're so silly.
Depending on where you're
from. Vacation or leisure, whatever time. Yeah. Well, what significance is family time to you? And I ask this deliberately because I know how much this means to you. So I know that you have a bit to say about that.
If we go back all the way to the first or second question that I had for you, which was, what was your favorite childhood memory?
Yeah.
My favorite childhood memory would absolutely be road trips and vacation time that we spent as a family with my parents. And so the significance of that, now that we have our own kids, I see it as a time where we bond. I see it as a time where, we grow together, we go through situations together. A good one is, remember our Livingston vacation?
That was our first family vacation.
Itai was how old?
Itai was like four, I think. He was still a baby. 4 or 3 years old.
4 or 3, he was little. Jada was...
She should have been like 6, maybe?
Yeah, she should have been 6. So we go on this road trip. We get halfway through one of the local towns. We need
to do a whole podcast on that one.
Livingston. It's a wonderful story. We should do a whole episode on that one. Our vehicle breaks down, but we pressed on. We pushed through. We ended up at our vacation, and it was,
And can I say, so you see what you just started right now? You're awakening more content in me. But I wanted to say, based on that vacation that we had every reason to turn back. Because everything was just going haywire.
Crazy.
Car broke down. We're in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have enough money to just splurge around.
Yeah.
All we had was money to get us to where we were going because we had already paid for our accommodation.
Yeah,
and
vacation
so
money.
The only way for us was forward, right? But then we had a car breakdown.
Yeah.
One thing I appreciate in that moment was the people around us. Like, I remember talking to one sister in the Lord, you know, and she encouraged me. She knew about our plans. And so I called her to more or less vent about what was going on. And she told me something. She said, Christy, you've already reached halfway. There's no way you guys are going to turn back. Just continue. Go forward. Don't mind about anything. Leave that car. Park the car and just, you know, continue going forward. And I'm saying this quickly just to mention how important it is to have people invested in your dreams. Have a circle around you of people who believe in your dreams, people who believe in your pursuits and your desires, so that when you don't have the strength to push yourself, those people can be there to remind you of your why. Those people can be there to remind you and say, hey, you can actually do it. So that person can be your spouse. It can be your best friend. It can be your sister, your brother, your friend, whoever it is. But have someone in your corner who can continually encourage you to push forward and pursue your dreams.
Absolutely. And maybe wrapping that up, I would say, even just in the church family.
Yes,
you know,
always.
The lady that you're speaking about, that you spoke to, is somebody we would consider as a big sister. So I see both you and I, we see our lives in church. Even here where we are now, we've got a circle,
we have an amazing community.
We've got an amazing community. We're plugged in, and really, it's all about being plugged in and being in a family. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, I totally enjoyed this.
Time is up.
I totally enjoyed this. But ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of this episode, the special, very, very, very special episode of this month of love with Graceful. And in the coming weeks, like we said at the beginning of this episode, we have lined up some awesome content to inspire kingdom marriages, kingdom relationships. And so look out for that. Look forward to the next 3 weeks. It's going to be awesome. And I'll be having my hubby bun here with me to discuss and just to talk about these topics. But we wanted to do this Q&A, you know, just to more or less break the ice so that you guys can know who the Chelas are, you know. And so we hope that gave you some insight. You want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be listening to me for the next 3 weeks.
Yes.
Wow. So look out for it. Like my wife, Miss Graceful herself, I don't know, is that a term?
The Graceful Queen.
The Graceful Queen says, look out for us. You're going to be listening to us. This has been an icebreaker for sure. We've been a little all over the place, but I mean,
bear with us.
Yeah, bear with us. We will get it locked down, and you will have great content that will uplift you and
encourage you, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but definitely look forward to that. And remember, a graceful life is a transformed life. So until next time, embrace the pace of grace and stay graceful.